Action! Missile! Boom! Missile! Boom! Thank you!
I fell in love instantly with the story. It had this kind of a nice vibe, this almost like 90s action film kind of energy to it. There's an active hijacking taking place, and Hawkins, who's the head of NSA, decides to take over the situation. He sends fighter jets on the air, and the plan is that this is too dangerous. They're going to have to shoot down that airplane, and he makes that call, which is obviously a horrible decision to make.
Hawkins is a director of the National Security Agency. He's an NSA operative. The FBI is a domestic police force. The CIA is an international group of spies and intelligence officers, or what do you want to call them. And the NSA is, I guess, something they came up with to straddle both.
Toyin, who is the deputy director, is against the idea that we send fighter jets. There's got to be another way, because they have a man inside the plane, the contact inside the plane, but she needs time.
Hawkins and Toyin, who are kind of at loggerheads, they have different styles of how they want to deal with the situation. And I suppose he's much harder line than what Toyin is, which I think she may become him further down the road, but she's fighting against him.
And then on the plane, Alex, who is part of the terrorist organization, but is actually an undercover something, same time keep up his cover, but also make sure that his agenda gets done.
I play Alex, who is part of this discorded group of idealists, all with different ideals, who decide to hijack an airplane. He's a sort of like, I suppose, a lone wolf to a certain extent on a vengeance mission. This is what happens when a trauma happens that is so bad it can change a human being from one path to another path. Many years ago, I was held hostage for an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, at an armed robbery at a country house. So I know what it's like to be in that situation from the other side of it.
It's written by Pavan, who's a doctor as his profession.
I'm working as the producer and the writer, and then I'm playing like the head badass terrorist on the plane. So it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. In terms of background and research for this, I had a great opportunity because I had a lot of patients who were like pilots or from different aspects, even, anti-terrorism and stuff. So I just basically went in and used my patients to give me the different perspectives. So the heart of the story is Mahatma Gandhi quote, which is an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind.
Another thing which I loved, it was very contained. You were only 2 locations. You were in the airplane and at the NSA headquarters. And everything happens in these 2 locations. So in a way, once you have 2 contained locations, you're able to actually jump into it.
We're sitting in Blackhanger Studios, where we built most of the sets, both virtual and real. The combination of 2 is really exciting, including a full 767 plane.
The space has really informed our choices, but also it's really added to the performance because you can't go anywhere. The violence is happening right in front of you. And in this film, we've got about 6 people dying from gunshot wounds and strangulations and a trolley ramming into someone. So the space has given us our choreography in many ways, and the kind of claustrophobic feel of all the actors in the space have just added and ratcheted up.
Leica is a young terrorist. She's subordinate and she's green to it. So she's just at the beginning of her journey. Leica is fit, she's well trained, and she knows how to shoot.
Orca's kind of a sociopath. He's the one that I think he has the most fun torturing people and passengers. It kind of makes him happy.
What makes it interesting is they're not necessarily one unit. They all have different ideas of what they want out of this. None of the terrorists truly trust each other's motives. You know what I mean? A discorded group will have that situation.
I play one of the passengers called Kim, who happens to have a bit of medical experience. She trained as a doctor, but she left her residency quite early on in her training. But she happens to be the only one on this massive plane.
There's several passengers who become a little suspect. Are they the good guys or are they one of the hijackers? You know, I happen to be a passenger who's got a little insight into good versus evil.
Spirituality can bring peace, and I think the script brings it very nicely over there through the character of Hitar, who is challenging the main character, challenging his worldview, which is very pragmatic, very revenge-driven. That's the main theme of the whole movie. It's a cycle of revenge, which goes on and on and on, from war fields into terrorism, into personal issues.
If you imagine what it would be like to be stuck on a plane that's hijacked, that's incredibly terrifying.
I hope it turns out as great as it looks, because it looks amazing. Constantine has done an incredible job on just the overall look and feel of this.
Like loads of female staff working on the set. So it helps me a lot because girls are really together. And I'm really happy about it. No, girl power.
Whenever you point the camera at, let's say, for example, Alec Baldwin, when I first saw him in front of the camera, when, you know, framed in that, it's like, wow, I'm watching him. You know, this is big. And then we have Jonathan, who is the most intense actor I've ever worked with. And I was quite floored especially in the first couple of days when just seeing what kind of his method of working is rigorous. Like he knows the script inside out. He knows the character inside out, and he's always searching for truth in it. And then Mianna, both of those actors are able to bring in such a level of truth into that it doesn't feel like I'm watching somebody's story, that it feels that I'm actually watching something that's really happening to these people.
The chief, the boss, the head guy or woman for that matter, who in the intelligence community is forcing everybody, and I do mean forcing them constantly to digest ugly truths about the world. And you when you play those characters, it's never fun. It's never fun to play that negative value in a piece, but it's challenging. That's the reason you do it, is the challenge of trying to give it some life where you can make it seem real. Every movie you do, whether it's like this, whether it's an intelligence, military hardware, thriller, and so forth, you're always gambling. Is the audience ready to see another one of those? Like, what's a fresh one you have, and hopefully it's put together properly. You got a good cast. We have a good cast and a good director and so forth.
More than just an action movie, it's got so many different layers. It's got some philosophy in it. It's got some thrill in it, some mystery.
This is a set your hearts and pulses racing kind of film. Go and watch this and have a thrill.
Big script, big moments, big stunts, but at the moment, there's no wood to touch. It's going all right.
And, you know, all these fantastic actors say the lines that you wrote. I have to pinch myself all the time.
It elevates the genre into a new level, and that's just inspiring to see.